Hi.
If y'all could just unmute yourselves,
Just take yourselves off mute.
Wise words from our awesome producer.
Welcome back. We missed you all so much last week. Bianca and I were and we were together in person. I didn't know that happened anymore in this world, but it did. Yeah, we were in New York at a Twilio event called Transform Together. We gave a little pre-event developer experience we created, and then we hung out for the rest of the event. It was fun.
It was, yeah. I also think it's like always cool being back IRL, seeing folks, and then also just being able to answer people's questions in person. I think that was pretty cool. And then I always forget how tall Alex is. Like in my heart, I'm like, oh, fellow tall Alex.
Yeah, Bianca's fairly tall as well.
Yeah. But in my mind, I just forget, oh, yay.
I don't know what you guys, let's throw out guesses. I want to see in chat how tall y'all think I am. Bianca did just say I was tall. So now everyone's going to be like 6'7", not 6'7". But I don't know. Sometimes it's like, you can't tell how, it's when you're on screen only, what people are like.
That's true. It's like I'll look taller. This might look taller.
Yeah, does that make me look taller? You guys can't see my head anymore.
So clearly you grew on stream.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have grown on stream as a person.
Wow. Did you? That was good. What tea do you have? You were very clear on making your tea.
Yeah, I made tea. I mixed two teas, which I don't normally do, but I decided to for a little bit of extra pizzazz. This is a foo mixed with a green. So foo is like a particular kind of fermented tea. It's supposed to be really good for gut health. And then and a bunch of other stuff. And then green tea is obviously green tea. It's they're both from China. I don't remember off the top of my head what they are, but the foo is like my favorite tea right now. It's just like caramely and perfect. Okay, Kat, who's met me in person, drops my exact height. So way to go, Kat. You win the prize.
You notice how I tried to ignore. I was like, we're just going to ignore the right answer in chat. Anywho.
But, so I got some tea here. I am just doing a lazy steep in a big pot and then be drinking it throughout the stream because, you got to stay teed up for this kind of thing. What about you? What snacks you got going on?
What do I have? I was eating some kettle cooked chips, olive oil, organic, because balance. And then I make this it's like this little elixir, and this is not sponsored, but it's my anti-inflammatory elixir. It has some MSM in it, good for inflammation, joint health. And then you also have to add a little vitamin C for absorption. So that's kind of what I have going on here.
It's in the AG bottle. It's not an AG. You're not repping AG. Okay, got it. No. We're not that big yet. We're not like. I feel like the Huberman podcast always just reps AG. But used to.
It's so wild because I used to I drank that thing before it came out. I was like
before it was cool. Got it.
Yeah, before it was cool, which is also tough, right? Because you're like, once it becomes cool, I think that's the thing with when things scale out. You're like, does it still have the same essence that it had before it became big? So.
Yeah, Brent switched from AG1 to Gruns. I also wonder, there's probably something where when things are small, you just kind of buy the marketing because there's nothing else. And then at some point, some other people do some research and they're like, actually, what is it? So that's real.
No, that's real.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No. So we did Transform. We have so much happening. In a few weeks, we're back again. We're talking omni-channel meets AI. So we're having we're doing another webinar. Get excited, folks. Voice intelligence.
What did we call it again? Is it AI across the channelverse?
Yes, across the
One of my favorite things to do is to make up really silly names for events. Like my TBL Enter the Metrics That was a fun one. All Matrix themed. I don't know. I enjoy it. But yeah, this one's going to be fun. I'm really excited for this one. We got some really cool content coming out.
Yep. So we have that. And then, yeah, there's just lots of activity. But yeah, things are solid. Feels good to be back on stream. I also can't believe we've done this for this long. Like
this is the 30th stream.
Wow. Like it.
When's the last time you did 30 of anything? I mean, I don't even do 30 bicep reps. I'm late, you know.
Wow. See, I'm telling you. Like I think it's so wild because like it just reminds me like one of the biggest things with anything is just doing it. It's just starting. Yeah,
and anyone else wanting to start a stream out there, it's fun. It's good. Although we are lucky because we A, have each other, and B, we have Chef Brent behind the scenes making us look good and making it all feel easier, which is huge. So those are good.
Agreed. Yeah.
And today we're going to be talking to some I would call it rising talent. So like yeah, we have what we call the Champions program at Twilio, and that's people external to Twilio that we think are doing amazing stuff, and we kind of want to bring into the Twilio ecosystem. I wish we wrote out a better intro, but it's every single champ. But yeah, so if you guys have seen in chat, RJ Pearson, he's a champion. And we're going to be bringing on in just a minute another champion. But it's just this amazing program that people who like are enthused about building things and using Twilio, we get to come out, and we've had champions speak at our events, do live demos, run meetups. Kat, who's in chat, it runs that program. So if you have questions about champions, now's the time to ask because Kat's here with us. But that's not our guest. Our guest today is Satyam, who is a champion based in Canada. So let's bring you out. Hello.
Hi.
Cool.
Hey. Oh, we're getting some echoes. I think that you might need to like mute Twitch or wherever else you have going on. But
gotcha.
Cool. Almost there. What do we got? Yeah. Where in Canada are you based?
Regina. So it's basically like north of Canada in the prairies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like a small city over here, but it's pretty decent. Yeah, it's fun sometimes.
Yeah. And then how's winter?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question because overall in Canada, winter is like known to be harsh, but especially in Regina, it's like even worse. Like I believe last time it was the best one. It was my first winter in Canada, but it took me a while to get used to it. But now it's getting better. And hopefully this winter won't be that harsh either. But people have been warning me that, hey, it's going to be bad. So, we'll know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think you'll make it through. But I live in a cold climate. Bianca doesn't. Bianca lives in Hotlanta, where it's, until you get a hurricane dumping on you, you're totally fine.
Of course. Yeah. I feel like it got super cold, but okay. So I know we started with location, but if you were to like introduce yourself, Satyam, like how would you introduce yourself to an audience?
Oh, yeah. So I have this poster as well in my room that says coder by day and hacker by night. So I would try to introduce myself like that because I do both like coding as well as hacking at the same time. So yeah.
What does that mean? What does coding versus hacking mean to you? Because I feel like in days we've kind of like a hacker is a coder in some way. So like how do those things, how are they different for you?
Yeah. So for me, when it comes to hacking, I will mainly talk about the CTF things and the competitions that I do, like in terms of hacking. So for that, you have to basically learn different approach, learn different tools. So first, let's say if I talk about web exploitation to be specific, then over there, we first see that, hey, what are the directives that I can access and what are the things that I can just get from the client side itself. And then we'll try to do some SQL injection and see if the person has added some sort of client-side validation or not. So we basically try to break it in while doing hacking, but while doing coding, we build it. So that's actually one of the best things that I believe that I have, because I know the things that hackers will look for. So I try to make sure that I'm not keeping any vulnerabilities while I'm working on anything.
There you go.
So yeah, that's how it's like a bit different.
Yeah, it's I often see the differences like because it's like for me hacking's a little bit more experimental.
Yeah,
and I think I'm more of a hacker than a coder because I'm not in the way that I'm like finding vulnerabilities. Not my jam. But like I everyone who I've met who does it though is like some of the coolest people, so I respect it. But it's more of like, yeah, I love building things experimentally, and you've done a crazy number of hackathons.
Yeah.
How many hackathons have you done?
In total, I'm done with like 38.
Yeah. And is that just since starting school in Canada?
No, so actually I started in 2022.
Okay.
My university started in 2023. So like I would say 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many of the 38 have you won?
27.
That's wild.
Okay, so how are you tracking your wins? Like, do you have like, I don't know, do you have a wall of wins? Like how's that going?
I do keep like a lot of stuff on my desk, like these winner pins. I can show you all of them.
Nice.
Yeah, except that I have this thing that whenever I win a hackathon, I will go to each one of my profile and edit it, like edit that 25x to 26 and 57. So just increment it. So that's another way of tracking it down, because there are like multiple platforms where we do hackathons. Sometimes it's DevPost, DevFolio, and other ones. So it's kind of hard to just link it over there. So I just increment it at every win.
Maybe that's going to be your next hackathon project, is something that goes and increments it on all the different platforms.
Yeah, actually, that's a decent idea.
Yeah, I mean, so even as you're about to hit your sophomore year, so you're wrapping up your freshman year, and I love just like that reminder of like learning, building. So for you, what pushes you to want to do a hackathon? Like, you have to have, there's something in there, right? So yeah. I'm just kind of curious, why hackathons? Why do you think they're important for anyone who's just like building anything?
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good question. So actually, weirdly enough, when I was getting started in tech, my first introduction was a hackathon. Like I had no idea what I was doing. I just thought that, okay, let's, check this out, because I remember seeing like a lot of videos on YouTube that people just code for like 24 to 48 hours in a enclosed room or an enclosed building, and I just thought that, okay, this is pretty cool, and it's worth a shot. Even though I don't know anything, I might just try to figure myself out. So that, like, it's thinking the same thing, I just went for a hackathon. It was at that time, like, fortunately it was virtual. And I was at that time in India, and the hackathon was happening in States, and it was like a hybrid hackathon. And that was like my first introduction to tech. I learned, like, that was the first introduction to HTML and CSS as well. That was like my.
So is that the first time you coded?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was like a wild journey, because in the middle some teammates dropped out, then me and the other teammate, we pulled all nighter, and we were able to create like a proof of concept kind of thing. Not even a working proof of concept, but it was more like a UI, like the front end, because that's what I was able to learn in 2 to 3 hours. So we pulled up a prototype, and I don't know, I still don't know how, but we won like 2 prizes in it. And and that kind of gave me the boost. I was like, this is super cool. Like, I just spent, let's say, a weekend, and I was able to get something out of it. This is pretty cool. I want more. So I just kept doing it. And at every hackathon, I realized that I'm learning a lot of things. Like during the weekdays, I was learning it during the weekdays as well, but it wasn't that much.
You're good. Keep going.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't that much. But by the end of it, like when the weekend starts, I realized that, okay, like it gives me a time limit, right? That, okay, in 24 36 hours, you are supposed to figure it out, and you are supposed to build it anyhow. And that kind of pushed me to just push harder and like learn something on the spot and build something with it. It was helping me a lot. I did, I believe, at least 10 to 12 hackathons every other week. Like, not every other weekend. I mean, one hackathon a weekend, and I was just doing it
Yeah.
continuously. And I just fell in love with it. I was like, okay, this is fun. I want to, keep doing it.
I was
Yeah.
going to ask you how you learned to code, but I like that it was at hackathons.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I met like a lot of cool people as well. There were some people. I still remember a student from University of Waterloo. He kind of helped me out to give me like an overall introduction to how front end and back end works, how they communicate with each other through API. And I'm not in contact with him, but I still have his Discord username. But he's no longer active with that. But he kind of helped me out to learn it, and you never know the kind of people that you meet over there. Like even Rishabh, I met him while doing hackathons on Twitter and stuff. So
I think you this illustrates a really interesting point in my mind, which is coding is something that can definitely be learned alone and individually, but it's so much more rewarding, and it's quite frankly easier to learn with people, right? There's a million video courses online where you can pick up any skill you want, but sometimes you like need somebody to interact with, and that's I think one of the benefits of like a lot of these code boot camps, or going to school for CS, or working somewhere where you can teach, or a hackathon, right? Like you get to do it along somebody, and I think that's just like I think hearing how you learn to code and being like, oh, you didn't just like watch a video and figure it out, you had some people holding your hand. And I think that even in the small scale of like the hackathon, that's just really cool. So
yep.
I think you're a great example of why coding and community is a thing. So everyone should just start a Twitch stream to learn to code. I think that's the answer, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
Like I've done hackathon solo as well, but I believe it's way more fun when I'm doing it with my friends. So. Yeah.
And what you said you started with HTML, CSS. What languages do you code in now? What are your favorites?
My go-to right now is TypeScript, but I've worked with quite a few languages. Like I've worked with Kotlin, I've worked with Swift, I've worked with Java, Spring Boot. That's what I was doing in my previous internship, and C++ for university, because they teach C++, so we gotta use it. And Python whenever I want to do some data manipulation or anything like that, because it's way easier with it. So I just go ahead and just create a file, do it, so it's easy.
Yeah.
And yeah, except that, like I think that those are some of the languages that I know. But TypeScript is my favorite.
TypeScript's your favorite? Yeah, it's an easy one. I'm the weirdo who like actually my last job was coding in C++, so I had to like lean in to do more C++ in school when I was in grad school, because otherwise I would not have been able to get a job. But that's because it's robotics, and robotics runs on C++ and Python, so it's a little different. Sweet. And then do you have like a focus of, I know you're studying computer science. Do you have like, is there like a focus within computer science you think you're going to go into? It's very early, so saying like, I don't know yet is a great answer, but I'm just wondering like what areas of CS are really exciting to you?
Yeah, so that's actually a question that I've been asking myself as well for a long time, because when I was getting started, people were like, okay, try to find like a niche and try to focus over there. But still, I believe I'm still exploring and just trying to figure my way out, because I've done like app development, web development, and even have worked with machine learning a bit. So I'm still not sure, but I think hopefully by the end of sophomore year, that's my plan to just try to narrow it down to a particular domain. And yeah.
I feel like I'm asking like what do you want to be when you grow up? But truly, like if you think about, once you wrap up, like what do you feel like you're trying to orient towards?
Yeah, I'm actually really into startups. That's like one of my goals. So that's why I'm actually even working at like a really good startup right now, to learn more how startups work and what are the problems that they face and how they solve them. And I love how fast-paced startups are. So
my plan for now is basically first get some really good experience from both startups and big tech companies, and once I'm done, but hopefully after a while, like maybe in a couple of years, I want to start something of my own and build my own startup, try to solve something maybe. So yeah, that's like one of the goals in the future. Like a rough idea.
Yeah, you know how you said you don't like, you're just exploring and you don't have a niche yet. Guess what? The biggest difference between working at a startup and anywhere else is at a startup you have to do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So just for context, Twilio is the biggest company I worked at by 100x. I've only worked at startups, including founding a few of my own. And Bianca also has a background in like startups and hanging out in Silicon Valley. And so if you have questions, you can ask us on stream even today. So if you want to know about that experience, I learned to code. I learned a little bit in high school, but I basically learned to code starting my first startups. Like that's when I really figured out Ruby on Rails and built some stuff that was pretty bad, but it was enough.
Yeah.
It's balance. Yeah. And I will say that like the whole fast-paced nature of everything is it's so core, because I do think being able to kind of be responsive to your users, be responsive to your customers, larger companies, there's a bit more people, right? Like that you have to go through. So yeah, I do think there is that balance, but I love that you're even just like curious about both. And I also say like, it's also possible to be entrepreneurial at larger companies, but just making sure that you're like looking for that. So yeah, I think there's always like balance there. Let's see what else is on our minds. I'm kind of curious. You were talking about community, and the champions community is in some ways like a community. So I'm kind of curious. One, how did you find the champions program? Don't worry, I know Kat's watching, but this is a free space. You don't have to give us your honest like why champions. Just curious.
Yeah, sure. Actually, I believe last year, so last year my friend was a Twilio champion. He told me that, okay, you get these kind of things, that you get to, network with these kind of people, hop on a community call like every month and talk to other Twilio champions as well. I'm not sure about the other Twilio champions, like I'm not really sure who they are personally, but I've learned and I've seen that they are, really way more experienced than me. Then I thought, okay, like being in a program where I have these kind of people, it's gonna kind of help me as well, and I will be able to even maybe advocate about Twilio out there, because I've used like Twilio a lot, especially in hackathons, because back in 2022 and 2023 they used to sponsor a lot of dev post hackathons, I believe, like sponsor prizes. So that's how I actually even got to know about Twilio. Like they used to send that. I'm not sure if I have that GameGo console over here, but a small GameGo console with some other goodies, and I loved it. So I was like, okay, they have this program and it's open. I saw it on the website, so I was just checking out Twilio that day, and then I saw that Rishabh works there. Then I was like, yeah, this would be perfect. Like I should apply for it, and I just went ahead and submitted my application.
Did you know Rishabh from something, or have you seen his videos, or?
Yeah, so I've seen his videos, and I've had like a couple of chances of having a conversation with him on basically like other platforms. So one time he posted a link on LinkedIn that, hey, I'm opening up some calendar invites, so feel free to book it. And fortunately I was the first person to see it, so I just went ahead. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and I hopped in and had a good conversation, and that's how I got introduced to him. Before that I'd seen like a lot of his YouTube videos, so, and it's like really inspiring how he was student too and did all these things. So yeah, that's and I saw that, okay, he works there as well, so it would be great to join it and try to advocate about it over there. So
yeah, I will say I have another question there too, which is like, when as a college student, right, like from these companies, what are you looking for, right? Like beyond internships, like how can companies best show up? I know champions can be one, but I'm just kind of curious about like, what do you find to be the most helpful?
Yeah.
from these larger coasts?
Yeah, definitely. So the best thing that I find is getting swags, because it's not about getting swag for myself, but getting swags for others. Because whenever we are hosting events, it's really hard to get students to attend them. But when we show that, hey, we have these swags, that hey, we have these stickers, come join us maybe.
I have so much Twilio swag. Yeah, that's so funny that swag's a good way to bring people in.
Yeah, that's the best way to attract them. Like there was a club fair event, and we decided to buy like 50 of these, but the smaller versions, okay? And so I forgot to like mention that we are supposed to give it only if they solve the questions. And within an hour, we were out of duckies because my friend was just giving them away. And even those students who are not in CS or not in tech, they were like, "Yeah, I love that. That looks cute." And they just took it. So people love swag, and getting swags from companies so that people can show it is kind of cool. So it basically helps us to attract good amount of students, and help students to find like a motivation to show up and attend those events. So I would say like that's like one of the best thing, and sometimes they help us in sponsorships as well, like getting pizza and stuff. In 2023 we used to do a lot of events where we used to get like pizza fund from other companies, and we used to host them, and people, like, even if they don't want to learn they used to just show off for lunch. But it used to be pretty fun, like having that kind of things from other companies that help students, because in future those students are gonna get into the industry and build things. So it's just good if they have some experience before that. So yeah.
You made me think of, I haven't thought of this in years, in my undergrad, which was a while ago, so like different set of tech out there. There was definitely like some sort of spreadsheet on the internet somewhere that would say everywhere that there was free food on campus. So like if there was like a hackathon, or if there was a company coming to do a dev day, and there were people who would literally that's how they fed themselves, is they would go from event to event just getting the free food. But you're so right. Like, what are the incentives? Like, we're going to give you some cool swag and some pizza, and we can get college students to show up. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that's the best way to attract students.
Yeah. And there used to be a joke about Twilio that we were a swag company that happened to like help people send texts on the side. So yeah, we're here. But yeah, we've got, I love that we just like mention things and people show up and chat. We got Rashab here. We got RJ Pearson saying, hey. Chef Brent says he'll show up for pizza too. Yeah, little did you know that like that's, maybe that's how we get him to show up every day. Who knows? Like at 2 p.m. Eastern time, a pizza shows up at his door. Wouldn't that be nice, Brent? Wouldn't that be nice?
I'm just saying, we'll add it to the budget. I just see like a random line item, pizzas for Brent.
Pizzas for Brent. That's how we produce all of our streams. Pizzas for Brent.
Yeah, of course. No, that's helpful. Even just like hearing you take these things for granted, right? Like swag, like swag or all these things, but even just like the relationship and just like how are you helping a student along on their journey, that's pretty cool. And even just like how you learned about champions, right? Champions came from just like folks putting themselves out there. I love the shout out to Rashab and how like Rashab just like made himself available. He is in the cloud, Rashab in the cloud. Rashab is everywhere. So I really, really love that. Yeah, let's see. What other questions are coming to mind? Like there's other things.
I got stuff.
Okay.
So when I was in grad school, I was in classes with a lot of people who were in the like the hacker. It wasn't hack. It was cybersecurity. They called it. They were, they were all hackers. Yeah. These are the guys who like had that the IBM from 2012 or whatever it is, where you could hack the BIOS, like people doing stuff. And I got to know like the captain of the Capture the Flag team. So can you explain to everybody what Capture the Flag is? And tell me about how you got into it, and just like a little bit more about your experience doing Capture the Flag.
Yeah, sure. Like right now, I'm actually the captain of our cybersecurity club, and cybersecurity team. So let's get an introduction about CTF. So CTF, basically you are supposed to find a phrase hidden somewhere. So for example, if we talk about web exploitations, then they will basically have it somewhere hidden in the website. Maybe it's in the client server, maybe you are supposed to make some sort of request, and it will, give you the flag. I'm just trying to make it sound easy. It's not as easy as it sounds, but it's sometimes like easy questions are easier. You can just do inspect element and find the flag, but those are not the kind of questions that you get for CTFs. That's only something that you create your foundation with. It's pretty fun because that's how you actually learn that, okay, there are different vulnerabilities in different types of things. Like last time I was in B-side Saskatoon CTF competition, I remember coming across a particular Flask template, and I got to know that, okay, Flask, like that particular Flask template has a CSRF vulnerability, and if you make a request through like another website, then it basically treats it as its own. Like instead of having codes defined in the backend, it just treats it as its own. So it was fun to know about it, and that's actually what cybersecurity is, because you have to just figure things out. Even like one of our teammate, his name is Masti, he's like a master's student, and he wasn't into cybersecurity, like not that much, but he's like, okay, I'm not a hacker, but I'm more of a researcher, and he just figures his way out. Like last time he solved 2 of the most difficult questions that no one was able to solve in the entire room, and that gave us like a huge bump in the scoreboard. And that's how CTFs work. You gotta be good at researching, you gotta be good at googling things, and now that you have like better AI websites, you can just go over there and ask that, hey, I'm trying to solve this, what are the approaches that you will recommend. So that's another way of doing it. But yeah, that's how like the CTFs work. Like in Canada specifically, there is something called CyberSci, which is known to be the biggest hacking competition, I would say, in Canada. So for that you have to first clear the regionals round and then go for nationals, and if you win the nationals as well, then you will go for the international one. And right now this is gonna be like the first time that my university will be ever represented, and we will be the first people to represent it, and we are hoping that we will be able to clear at least the regional round, because it's gonna be our first time. So a bit nervous, but I'm hoping it's gonna be fun for sure. I actually got into cybersecurity earlier this year itself. Before that I wasn't into it. I remember meeting a friend of mine. Like we are really good friends now, but at that time he was completely new to me. I saw that, hey, he's trying to create like a cybersecurity club at UFR, and I was like, hey, let me know if you need any help with websites. Like that's what I literally told him, because I know how to build websites, so I can help you with that. And he was like, yeah, sure, do it. I built like a really cool UFRcybersite.com. If you go there, you can see it, a really cool website. And so that's how we got started. He was like, okay, if you're getting into this, maybe you will like doing some hacking and just figuring out what CTFs are. And he was like, yeah, just become my VP. And that's how I joined him as the vice president of the club, without having experience at that, but I was learning. So he was like, yeah, I believe in you, just do it. And after that, now he's graduating, so I'm taking over the club and trying to help people learn CTFs. We are hosting some CTF competition. The next one is gonna be the coolest one. So I'm not sure, have you ever watched The Social Network by any chance? Yeah, so I'm hosting a competition. I'm not sure if it's legal to host it in university, but we'll know after hosting it. So it's basically I've created like a platform, and people are supposed to find vulnerability and increase their vote to 1 million, and whoever reaches 1 million will basically win and get the position on cybersci team. And on every request that they make manually, they have to take a shot. Every 2 minutes they have to take a shot, and there are a couple of things. And every time they want to use AI, they have to take a shot.
Very college. I feel like an adult right now. I was like, did you pass this through your administrator?
Yeah, that's great though. I love that setup of like a fake social network that you have to hack into and do stuff. Yeah, I heard about one. I think the coolest CTF I ever heard about was somebody they gave all the teams an Xbox with like a weird version of Halo.
Yeah.
And they had to like hack it together, but then at the same time, like make themselves better so they could actually win the game of Halo.
Yeah.
And at first they couldn't even play, like you couldn't even control a character. So stuff like that's super cool. And I love how you just got into it by saying yes. Are there on the website, are there some hidden things for people? Could somebody who like was curious try to like find, like, do you have little puzzles and Easter eggs in the website?
No, but that's something that I'm actually working on for
Cool.
the last 1 week. So that's something that I'm adding, like couple of I'm thinking to actually add a couple of flags in the website, so just to make it fun, So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think also some of that stuff is also cool where like I feel like I've heard of this. I don't remember where, but I heard of this on like a job thing where there's like some like little vulnerability they put in somewhere in like the demo code. And if someone found it, it like gives them a special email to message. And then if they email that message, then they basically just like get the job. It's almost like, there could be cool stuff there where you throw stuff into the thing. And like if somebody finds it and messages you through this weird back channel, then all of a sudden you know that they should be on the team.
That's actually really good idea. I might use it.
No, yeah. I mean, it's kind of been interesting just to see. I think I'm calling it in the outside world. Just so many folks trying to get into like cybersecurity. I feel like while people are in college, they didn't see cybersecurity as like, let me do that. But I guess like what's your advice or how are you thinking about like just even the role of cybersecurity as we look to the future of how we build? But yeah, just kind of curious your thoughts.
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. So I've noticed this as well, that people tend to not get into cybersecurity because the learning curve between other domains and cybersecurity is like the difference is huge, because you can't just get into cybersecurity after watching like a 2-hour long video. You can't do that. You gotta learn the fundamentals. You gotta learn networking. You gotta learn Linux. You gotta learn a lot of different things, and you gotta make sure that you don't get hacked while learning things. Because there are like a lot of weird IRC rooms that people join, and sometimes they will just download some malicious package, and then then they will basically get compromised, and a lot of things happens. So but at the same time, it's like really, really important, because with the rise of AI and how easy it is getting to learn how to hack, because it's really easy. If you go to ChatGPT today and ask it that, hey, can you give me step by step steps like how I can learn how to do this particular thing, it will actually give you, like after doing some prompt engineering, of course. Initially it will be like, no, I can't, that's illegal, but you can make it give it the answers.
Just gotta tell her your grandma's a hacker and your grandma really wants to share this with you.
Yeah. I love that. No, I can't, it's illegal. Carry on.
So basically, just like it's really easy to hack people, so it's just better to at least have some basic understanding on things that you are not supposed to do and things that you are supposed to do in order to be secure, like having two-factor authentication. Like I have right now Twilio's Authy, which I use on a daily basis for it. So having those kind of things, it's just basically some basic, it's not even cybersecurity, it's just being safe. And on top of it, it's definitely the best career to get into, because doesn't matter how fast things are growing, people will try to hack you, people will try to hack into different things, and you will have to make sure that it's you hack it beforehand and just make sure that it's secure. That's like one of the jobs that cybersecurity people do. Like that's what I've learned. Even like at my last work, last internship, I had a meeting with the cybersecurity department, and they were like, at the same time, like doing this is one of the job, but at the same time they make sure that none of our data is being sold on the dark web, so that they know that, okay, hey, someone is not just getting some data and sending it, like selling it over there. Because I recently remember seeing one of the posts on Twitter that a company was doing it, and they were literally selling it for just $15,000, and it was like millions of users' data. It was actually some sensitive data, so at least like knowing those kind of things kind of helps you out. And yeah, there are like a lot of different things that you can do, and hacking is cool. Like, just imagine just wearing a black hoodie, get into a dark room, start start typing on your, Lenovo ThinkPad.
Yeah,
laptop.
go watch Mr. Robot.
Exactly. You won't believe
Yeah.
me. I have a poster over here of Mr. Robot. I was watching last night.
Yeah, that's one of those shows that like probably got it closer to how it is than many other
yeah.
shows. Because every other show, it's like some dude just like in a room, just like mashing on a keyboard. And I appreciate that like most of the hacking in Mr. Robot was like social, like somebody like gets somewhere it's but yeah, that's cool. How do you but like on the code side, on everything else, I know you're doing a lot of hackathons. How else do you stay up to date and like learn about what's new, what's coming, what's interesting?
Yeah, I follow good people. That's like one of my way of learning things.
Like Rashab.
Yeah, like Rishab. He posts like about cloud, cloud certifications and new cloud technologies every now and then on LinkedIn and Twitter. So that's like my way of staying up to date. I don't follow any newsletter or anything. I just hate, following any of them. So I just prefer to go on Twitter, refresh, learn new things, and just close it. It doesn't even feel like learning things. It's just, it's just browsing Twitter. That's it. And you are learning at the same time. Just follow good people. That's like my way.
Interesting. This is good takeaways. I'm like taking notes. You're like, but I think because it's so funny because I thought like the rise of the influencer was kind of starting to go away, but like people still, we learn from people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting that you're like, newsletters, no, but a person telling me, hey, come to join this thing. Taking notes. I'm taking notes.
It's curation. It's curators, not influencers.
Ooh,
right? Like if you think about it that way, because I mean, Rashab's not posting pictures about. I think he was just in Sweden, maybe, but like that's not like his the main thrust of his content. It's like educational stuff. Yeah. But so, anyways, I know you recently did some coding, and you have an example you wanted to show off.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
I would like to see if I'm present.
Let's get that screen share going, and let's walk us through some of your code. We love to look at code. Maybe we'll even think of something we can do on stream. But like, I'd love to see what you did there, and once you get it up, we'll have you set the scene for what you built and why.
Yeah.
No, I like this.
Good.
Yeah, so I like this language of like curation, and I do think like how many times does one say AI, right? I do like the reminder of like AI being able to distill, right? Those tools being able to like distill a bunch of information. So that's going to be interesting. This like curation, distilling over time. Yeah.
So Satyam, I'm gonna have you make that full screen, and then also zoom in quite a bit, like just Control plus a few times. Sweet, much better.
Boom.
Thanks.
Better?
Cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I will just give like so it has actually a decent story behind it. I'm not sure if I should say, but yeah. So
You should.
I was going through some things, and I thought that I don't really like any dating websites, and I decided that I want to build my own because I posted about it on Twitter, and that's what people recommended, that hey, why don't you just build your own, because that's what I used to do at that time. I was like, okay, if someone gives me an idea, I will just build it. At the same time, I used to continuously tweet about it, so that's what like building in public is overall. So I used to love that, and someone recommended that hey, why not you build your own. And so the idea of DevMed started with that. I was just trying to build like a dating platform for developers. So it's basically where you join the platform using your GitHub authentication. So it has all your details, like the languages that you use, mostly your public repositories, if you're famous or not, your contribution graph, and like you can add your projects to even like improve your profile, get more matches, maybe get more likes. It depends how it is. So if you scroll down a bit, like this is like one of the example. Like this is how your small profile looks like. this is like a good friend of mine and a YouTuber as well. So that was like the main idea, to reach global. Like right now it has like 21 plus countries. It's been a while that I made any updates. This last update was, I believe, like early in winter, because I built this thing after I was done with my finals, like my last fall's finals. Like I was done. I had no place to go, so I thought, okay, let's sit in my dorm room and code this. And I built that, and at the same time I wanted to see if I can actually make something really user friendly in Web3, because it's like a big issue in the Web3 domain, or Web3 overall, that you can't really make anything easy to use. Your users are supposed to know a lot of things beforehand so that they can use the technology. And I hated it. I was like, no, I want to build something that will be easy. I want that, okay, the same way how people join other platforms, I want to build something like that. So I did some research and I came across certain technology called Dynamic XYZ. It was like quite new at that time, and I just decided that, okay, I will just jump in and give it a shot. And after trying a lot of different SDKs, I realized that, okay, this is a good one. So I made it in such a way that people just have to log in using the basically GitHub, GitHub auth. They can after that even communicate with them, because hey, like once you match, what's the next step? You are supposed to talk, right? So I remember this thing as well, that chats are actually not really end-to-end encrypted. If the person has access to the keys, then they can basically decrypt it. Like the internal person can see your messages in one way. So I wanted to even make sure that it is end-to-end encrypted. And at that time I was working at Push Protocol, which was basically building the Web3 communication protocol. So I decided that, okay, I will use them as well, and just merge everything in, use the best things and build something out of it. So that's basically the idea behind it. And if we click to join and continue with GitHub, since I've already authenticated before, so I don't have to allow anything, but it just basically asks for your public data, nothing that is personal to you, so it's all good. And you will see something like this, and even this particular person has been recommended in such a way that it basically matches matches the things that she has used over here, and it even shows the organizations that she is a part of, and all the GitHub stats. These are basically something that I found from GitHub only. Like there are some people that have created these. It's like a package, I would say. So it basically grabs all your information and shows it to you, and you can either like or dislike the person. Let's say if I like it, then it will just show that, hey, you like the user. But in case she's liked me in the past, then I will get that, okay, user matched successfully, and at the same time the person will get a notification, that like an email notification, because this is only a web application, so I don't have any in-app notifications. So I decided that, okay, I will just go with email notification services, and it's pretty decent. So I made it in such a way that, okay, if someone gets matched, then they will get notification, but at the same time I will get notifications, so that I know that people are using it. So I just did a small script.
That's an odd use case we find for Twilio sometimes, where it's like every time someone sends up, I send myself a text message. Nice. And so do you have just big picture? One of my startups, by the way, was helping people meet and make friends. So this is very interesting to me. I did a lot of research about how dating apps work and things like that. And so are you having people talk about what they're looking for? Like you said, meet your co-founder, I don't know, maybe this is the thing that maybe it is couples that code together stay together. I don't know.
I'm
just thinking about it.
No, I mean, I truly long walks. Doesn't. No. Okay. So what came to mind? Okay, I have questions for you on this, because it's like, how do you determine what are the 3 or 4 core features, right? Like that you want to focus in on, right? Like you're solving a problem. I want to get into the mind of a hackathon winner. So how do you determine okay, this is the solution that I'm using? Curious.
Most of the time I just experiment and I just listen to other people. That even for most of the features over here was something that were recommended to me on Twitter, and I was just noting it down and taking it one by one. Like earlier, I actually forgot to add a logout button earlier when I built for the first time. Because I was like, why do you want to log out? Just stay, bro. So I added that, and then there is this expose section so that you can actually see projects from different people, like just like a board of projects, and you can even like them, dislike them, and leave comment if you want to. I think the comment feature was yet to release, but that's like one of the things. And at the same time, there was something called refresh your own profile. So the thing is, it saves your profile in the database, but updating it is a bit difficult, because let's say if you update something on your GitHub profile, like I won a hackathon, like a new one. I think I haven't updated my profile. Okay, yeah, let's see if it works. Yeah, right now it's 25, right? So I haven't updated it in a while. So someone recommended that, hey, I just add a refresh profile button, so that if you click on it, it will just grab your public data again, and just make sure that it is up to date. So if I click on it, it is updated, but I think I will have to refresh. Yeah, see, so that was like one of the features
there
that
you
was
go.
recommended.
Wow.
Yeah,
Those two hackathon wins matter. Okay. It's very core to the match. Okay, so definitely listening to your users, but when do you determine when you're not listening to your users? Like, what are you like, no, not, yeah.
I just take inspiration from random applications, to be honest. Like, okay, so this is really funny, but this explore section is something that you get on Tinder as well, so that's how I added that. And like, that was the main goal, to just show people. But then I decided that, okay, instead of showing people, let's show projects. Because I wanted to make it make it such a platform where people can actually share about their own project and even learn about others' project. So that's why I made that change. And yeah, like, that's one of them. And I believe after that there is something called intros. So this wasn't there before. Earlier I was just passing people based on the contribution graph, but then I decided that, okay, we'll add this. We'll give option to show their own projects. Like, let's say if a developer wants to I don't know how to say it in a good way, but if a developer wants to release someone, they can just show their projects, maybe. So I just thought, okay, why not just give them an option to show their own project on their profile. So that's why I added this. And this was another inspiration from a different project that is not anything related to making friends, but it was like a different project. I forgot the name though. But yeah, that's how I basically get the idea that, okay, let's try this, and if someone doesn't like it, and if I figure out that, okay, many people are not liking it, then I will just remove it.
Yeah. Are you in any way, shape, or form monitoring how people are using things and what they're using?
Not really, except how many people like and dislike every other day. Except that I'm not monitoring anything else.
That makes sense.
Another question along the lines of just kind of like tracking. Okay, you've built so many things, right, at these hackathons, but like, how do you determine, okay, I want to invest more time, energy into this project versus another, right? Like, how are you?
Yeah.
Do you check in?
It's actually fun. I do these things for fun. That's like the main goal out of it. Like right now, even last night, I was working on a project, which is going to be pretty cool. Will probably release by the end of this week, because a friend of mine just came to me. He was like, hey, you know what, this project will be fun, like this is something that people might like. So we were like, okay, for like, why not, let's just build it. Like, we are university students, we don't have like anything to lose. We can just keep building things, so yeah, that's what I like, and I just try to build things every other weekend. Yeah, that's another thing. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or not, but I like to post a lot on social platforms, like on LinkedIn, on Twitter. That's another reason of building things, that, okay, if I have something to show, that I can post about it, and people can see it. And there have been like multiple times when I gotten like opportunities just by them, and I didn't even have to share my resume or profile or anything. People just go on my LinkedIn, they can just see that, hey, this guy built these things, and it's kind of working with them, and he knows how to basically be a developer, I would say. And it basically makes you way more employable because you are showing your proof of work. Like this is proof of work too that you can just show on over here. Maybe someone is a recruiter comes on that match, they want to hire, they can do that. That was another feature too over here. Like back in March or April, I believe that someone hosted a hackathon. So I added that feature that people can even get matched with job opportunities. But since it was not being used much, so I just removed it. So yeah, like it's fun. Building things is fun, so that's why I just keep doing it.
Yeah, I often think that GitHub is probably like the best resume you can have because it just shows you working. I mean, we've, even in the position of hiring and like seeing if somebody has a bunch of new stuff on GitHub, you can tell if they're coding or not. Which looks bad for me because I don't have a lot of new stuff on GitHub right now, but that's okay. I love this, and I love you just like having a passion for something and being like, let me find. Wait, have you met anybody through your site? Not like romantic, just like in general.
Okay,
you made me friends.
I made a lot of friends.
I'm not asking about your relational status or your life in that way. I'm just have you made friends through the platform?
Yeah,
have you
definitely, I have.
Cool.
I have made a lot of friends. I used to even chat with them.
Wait,
these are like all my matches. Honestly,
there you go.
80% of these people I know personally.
Great.
But yeah, I've met like a lot of these people through the platform, and then they reached out to me on some other ones as well, which is quite ironic. But yeah, I met like a lot of people using it.
RJ Pearson also asked, well, he didn't exactly ask it, but I'm going to ask the question. How do you balance, like when you're going to do, like when you're like, I feel like sitting down and coding, how do you balance like starting something new and fresh versus like working on something that's already there or finishing a project that you already have?
Okay. I try to finish when when I get an idea that, okay, if I got, let's say I got this idea, okay, then I will try to build at least MVP on the first day itself, because if I don't, then most probably I'm never gonna work on it again. So I need like a motivation that, okay, if I'm able to build a proof of concept, then I will be able to maybe put some more time and improve it and make it even better. And that's just like my way of completing projects. Like even I used to have like a lot of incomplete projects. Even I have right now like a lot of them. That's kind of normal, but at the same time this helps me a bit to just figure out that, okay, okay, let's complete this project. This is something which is turning out to be pretty decent, so why not just build it. So, once you have like a proof of concept, just post about it, just share it, because it's never too early to share a project. So
I typically don't get out of proof of concept. That's about where I stop, and that's what I like to do. I love building out little things. So like I feel you, like the faster you can get that proof of concept working, the faster something's there, and like then you're at a point where like at least it makes sense to talk about. Otherwise it's just like a bunch of code that no one can look at. Is DevMatch something that's like, is it on GitHub? Can people check it out if they want? I know it's devmatch.tech if anyone wants to go see it, but like is it out there? Like, is this on GitHub, or is this something that it's private to you?
It's private right now, but I'm thinking to make it public because like in the morning itself I broke something in the server, so the server might be down. I ran out of credits actually.
There you go.
So the way I run it is pretty hacky. So I have like a script running in the background which calls the API every 10 minutes so the server doesn't go down. But recently they decided to limit it to some amount of hours, so my server is down since morning, but I will get it up again.
There you go.
Right now it's not open source, but I have like other projects as well that are open source, so maybe check that out.
It looks like it's working. So I guess you got some more hours.
Do you use any Twilio products in this? In this
one, I'm planning to integrate the SMS notification one soon enough, but right now I don't. I have a couple of projects where I actually use it. Maybe I can. Fine if I, okay. Sure.
You can just whatever you want to show us. We're here for
you. Where is it? Oh, Spy. Yeah,
Okay,
so
sending it.
this project, me and Karthik, like he's my teammate, we built this. So it used to be basically a platform, like, so the idea was to integrate it to a camera so that it will make sure that your dog is not getting out of your gate. And if it does, then it used to just shoot a SMS with the video to the person that, hey, your dog is running out, just go and maybe catch
Ooh.
him. Yeah, that was like the idea for it. And it's still out there, it's public actually, so if anyone wants, they can just look into it.
What
Can
is
you
it?
zoom in on this a little bit too? It's a little small.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Spy Pooch.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
like the name, yeah. And
Okay.
I've couple more projects if someone wants to check them out. It's basically on a profile. Like this one, Emoji Mosaic. You probably would have seen those projects where people basically create art out of ASCII characters.
Oh yeah.
But I decided that okay, ASCII characters is nice, but everyone can do it. So I thought okay, let's just build something with emojis. So instead of ASCII characters, it uses emojis to create your picture. Yeah, it's pretty decent. It's live too, I think. Yeah, it's client side, so it will never be down. You can check it out after going there. It even lets you down. Yeah, if I just have hopefully any picture that I
I'm
can.
trying on my side too, because
Yeah, yeah. I should have some decent picture that I can maybe upload.
Wow,
Okay.
Let me just. Yeah, I have
interesting.
like a lot of random things.
It's very
let's say if I
artistic.
upload this, yeah, it will just generate like a mosaic out of emojis, and these are all emojis. Like if you zoom in, it's like burger, like a lot of
Oh,
different
wow.
things. Yeah. So, like that's another project that maybe you can check it out if anyone wants to. It's open source, so feel free to clone and maybe add something of your own.
That's
Okay.
awesome. When you were writing that, did you like how did you decide how did you make that? Tell me about like what that code looks like. Like how do you actually do
Yeah.
like picture conversion?
Yeah. Wait, I should have it.
Oh,
Let me just
even
open
better.
it.
Yeah.
It's really funny how I got the idea though, because I was just scrolling on LinkedIn and I saw that there was a person who kind of had a similar idea, but he was like, okay, it's gonna take me a couple of weeks to get it live. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna just get it live tonight. Just- uh,
Motivated in many different ways. I love that.
Yeah.
You're like, no, tonight. That too is very college. Why not? Let's just do it today.
yeah, like what's the worst that can happen?
That is true. I really do appreciate your mindset as you're approaching these things. You're just like, whatever. Like, let's just make it happen. And I feel like that's always needed, especially as we get older.
Yeah.
Okay, if you could definitely zoom in for us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me just make it full screen and
Yeah.
it's good. Awesome.
More.
Let me just
Give it a little more.
Keep zooming.
That's good.
look. Oh, perfect. So I have couple of comments as well that people can see. It basically, so first let's go with components. Right? It's been a month, I believe, that I built this, so even I don't remember most of the stuff. Yeah, so first of all, you just upload an image, basic,
Right.
and it basically so I was able to find a really decent like website which provides you a lot of different components. By components I mean like UI components. So if you can see this one, like this thing. So I didn't design it. It was already kind of available on the internet. So I just decided that okay, let's use it. It looks cool. So I found it out on the internet and I was like, okay, let's use it. So it's basically just uploading an image, and once it's done, it informs it. And if we go in the code base and see where it was being used. Wait, what? File upload.
Yeah. So much of coding I found is just like somebody else
Yeah.
already built it. I'm going to use this thing somebody else built.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
yeah. Or else you will be building everything from scratch, which is not the best idea.
Yeah.
So just a second.
No worries. But it's so like in the background, I'm seeing
Yeah.
you're like essentially pixelating the image.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, so it's
Um,
basically first getting the colors of each pixel
mhm.
and then matching it with the data that I already have. Like I should have something called clean data. Yeah, so this is the kind of data I generated. So this was the most difficult part because there is no data like this available out there. So the way
Oh.
the way I generated is so weird. So I copied. So I have like a lot of OpenAI credits, and I decided that okay, I'm not able to find any data, so I will just generate some of my own. And I was just pasting bunch of emojis. Like I found a file that had like a lot of emojis, so I was just copying it, pasting it, and asking it to generate a data for me, and it was doing that. So I got this data within like an hour, I believe. Yeah, it's like a lot of emojis. If you scroll down, it's
I often
That's so
wonder.
funny. This
I
is
often-
this is what I was wondering how you figured out. By the way, this is what this is the key. I'm like, okay, but how did you like figure out which emoji to use? And it's like,
I agree. I was like, it always is fascinating to me. Like, I wonder, like, when companies are checking out like usage or whatever, like, wow, I wonder how this will be used for. Just cross-checking emojis and their RGB. Like, who knew? Who knew?
yeah.
oh man,
Wow. That's a lot of emojis.
Yeah.
Like a lot of emojis, and it has all the like the color as well, like RGB. So you can, after getting colors of each pixel, it basically maps it through this entire file, finds the closest one, because most probably it's not going to find the exact same. So it just tries to find the closest one, and then just gives it that particular emoji. So yeah, it kind of works.
That's funny. I like that. This is what I was wondering. I'm like, okay, but like, how do you do? But like, that's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, but
Yeah.
even with that though, like, even this sense of like you being like, I'm not doing this, like, how do you, going back into like over time, you've probably learned how to better prioritize. Like, how do you determine the stuff that you're like, no, someone else is doing that? Like, how do you determine that, especially as you've done more and more hackathons? Like,
yeah, so I just tried to build something better and something out there. Maybe I just, like, even the last one, I was like, okay.
Yeah, Rashad was like, who created that JSON? Yeah.
Yeah. So,
AI to the rescue. There you go.
Yeah, definitely. So I just see that, hey, this is something which is lacking, and if it's not already out there, so let's just build it. If it's already out there, then I will maybe just give some feedback that, hey, maybe try adding this, or if it's open source, then I will add it by myself.
yeah.
But something like that, like the user was like, hey, it's gonna take a while. I was like, okay, you know what? It's gonna take a while. I will just do it by myself. It's just easier in that way and get it live.
No,
Yeah.
I love how just like, hey, just running through all the colors.
Yeah.
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 Brent thought that was a good use of AI. So you impressed him.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, that is definitely a fun use, right? Like, that was the part I'm like, but how do you know how that? So like, cool, because like all the other stuff is just math. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really time consuming as well, because I was so confused, like I wasn't able to find any data that I could use. So at one point I thought, like, hey, I have like a lot of credits left, and probably I'm not gonna be able to use it. So why not just do this? It costed me like $2, that's it.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
I love it. That's fun. I like that. So how do you, in a bigger picture, how do you see kind of like using AI in your work stream? Like I assume you're using it there to like generate this data set. Do you use it as a developer tool? Like, do you have like some sort of AI assistant running while you're coding? Do you use it to help generate some of your code? Do you use it to like for interactions with people? Like, how do you like to use AI, and what kind of where do you see it being really helpful for you?
Yeah, so the most like I use AI on a daily basis, mainly in my like code editor itself. Like sometimes I like earlier I used to use VS Code. Now I'm using Cursor, which is basically built on VS Code itself, but Cursor has options to run Claude, and Claude is like pretty decent. Like it actually eliminates the amount of work that you have to do. So like, let's say if you decide that, okay, this thing is something that I want, okay, my mouse is here. So this thing is something you don't want here, and you want to just change the UI, and you just try to start taking the approach, and it will just do it for you. So it's basically eliminating a lot of your effort. So you just have to think about it, and it will just do it in one way or another. So it basically helps you out a lot, saves a lot of time. Normally if I had to build this particular project as well, I think it would have taken like way longer than what it took. It took me like 6 hours, I believe, and normally it takes days to build something like this. So, and it was because of using AI, like because of using this particular editor. At the same time, you can even like switch to different models. That's the flexibility that you have, because nowadays there are a lot of different models, so you can just choose the one that kind of serves the purpose for you. And even at my workplace, so I've seen that many companies are like, okay, you should not use AI, or they will be like, okay, you can't even use ChatGPT when you are working from that office, because they ban the IP. And but my place, like the workplace where I'm working right now, like my internship, they're like, okay, you know what, just have the enterprise version and you are safe to use it. And they just provide us that, hey, just use it, why not just make yourself even better with AI. So yeah, that's like one of the best thing about working where I'm working right now. But yeah, like I've been using every single day, and I don't think so it's gonna decrease anytime soon. There is this thing that I've noticed, that many new developers, like I have the fundamental knowledge now because I started before ChatGPT was out there, but many new developers that just starts with ChatGPT goes into this particular loop. I've noticed this, that they just ask ChatGPT to do everything, even the thinking, but that's something that you are supposed to do. That's like your purpose, or else why you're working. So that's something I think is like a downside of AI right now, that people are just asking it to do everything and they're not using their own brains. So hopefully that will change. If I see my own friends that, hey, you are doing this is now how you do it, if they are learning to code, then I would recommend that, hey, first think about it, first get started into it, get the fundamental knowledge that how to use React. How, let's say if I'm talking about front end like React, then I would be like, yeah, get the idea how it works, learn JavaScript first, don't just jump onto React by using ChatGPT. So those are some of the downsides, but a lot of upsides for sure, and I'm using every single day, and I think I will keep doing it for a long time.
I think that's a great point, which is AI is a useful tool, but it doesn't replace you needing to understand what's going on in your code and understand the fundamentals. And I think that, that's one of those things that like is gonna, there's gonna be, I don't know, every time people are like, AI is just gonna replace developers, I'm like, I don't think it's quite there. Maybe one day, but like, I don't think it's there, because I think there's still a fundamental, like, you need to know what's going on and what you need to build and how to build it, even if you're not writing every single line in code.
Even the whole emoji thing, right? Like, you still had to understand, I need an image that has this particular RGB, right? Like, you still had to have that in your mind. It just so happened that like AI allowed you to kind of make that process easier, but mentally you still had to kind of orient yourself there. But I do think that's like a helpful reminder of like, what's your framework and how does this tool, and again, seeing it as a tool, but not the everything. That's, I mean, like, it's refreshing to hear that, because I do think a lot of folks are just like, well, I'm going to learn it the AI way, right? And I'm just going to build the AI way. And the AI way sometimes causes you to not even think, versus it just being like, improve this or augment this, or how could I approach this? Totally.
Definitely.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, Brent was impressed. Brent uses AI a lot and still wouldn't have thought of that as a way to go. So just calling that out, that you impressed Brent, which is always good. But yeah, I love that. I know like I wasn't a part of it, but some other teams here did stuff where they like used AI to generate fake company data, and then did some demos using like company data of these like fake companies that we had in Segment to throw in there, which is super cool. Actually, you know what? I'm going to suggest you try at some point, because I'm curious to see how it goes for you. Have you used Segment before, the Twilio CDP? customer data
Not
platform?
really. Not really.
You should. There's like a free account. You should go throw it on like your dev. See if you can just throw it on your like dev match site, and it'll start to like collect data about how people are using the site, which is
Oh,
pretty cool.
okay,
And
that
then
that
I'd
sounds
love
really
to.
cool. Yeah, I had no
Yeah,
idea about it. I'll definitely check it out here.
one Twilio, which cross sells. Yeah, my the focus that I have on for the next. In like later this quarter, I'm running another level up where we're gonna be diving into using Segment with Twilio, and so it's gonna be fun, and I'm learning more about it too. Segment is, I remember when I was working on my startup, Segment was just starting, and the reason I would throw it on there is because it would basically collect data everywhere, and then you could put it wherever you wanted. So like it would then flow from Segment into Google Analytics or flow from Segment into Mixpanel, whatever I wanted. But there's so much more I can do now, which is super cool. But yeah, curious to just, when you get there, and you're a Twilio champion. So if you have trouble with it, you got the network of people helping you out.
We're here for you. We are here for you. This is so cool.
I know. So what's the next project that you want to build? What's exciting for you?
I'm actually working on it right now. It's just like a platform that helps you generate some videos. I would say that for now. It's pretty decent. Trust me, it's gonna be really cool. I just built like the proof of concept last night. I was up till 4 a.m. That's why I woke up late tonight. But so yeah, I have the proof of concept, just trying to iterate through it and make it better. But it's like a video generation platform. I'm using some AI, using some Reddit and different APIs. So it's turning out to be pretty decent. We'll get it out probably by Thursday, because on Friday I have to go for another hackathon. So
Of course you do.
yeah, yeah. So
Nice.
it's gonna be decent. Yeah.
Yeah. And have you published a blog on the Twilio blog yet?
Not really.
Not
I've
yet. Okay.
published a couple of blogs, but it's not a Twilio blog, I believe.
Okay.
Till now.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's another thing, because we'll go to trade shows or things like that, and people are like, "Are you guys hiring at Twilio? I'm an undergrad," and I'm like, "I don't know. I'm not. I don't like to. But if you want, like, I can help you write a blog post." Very few people have taken me up on that. Not surprising, but it's like it's work. But like you're doing that work, which is like when you're ready to go apply for jobs, it's going to be so easy for somebody, a person hiring, to see how much you can code, what you can do, where you're having thought share, where you're sharing your knowledge. Like you're doing all the right things to like show up and like show that this is something you really, really enjoy and you're good at.
Yeah. I also think just like the level of curiosity, the level of just like building, like I think right now it's very easy to not build or not want to build. So I do think like even just you constantly being in that posture, and like I can authentically see that you enjoy this. And I think that's pretty cool, which is like, I just like to build, not because I'm trying to just win the hackathons, but that's a nice touch. But I feel like you just enjoy solving problems. And I think there's something to be said about like, I don't know, constantly being in that space. So we saw what you're building. We saw all these things. Like, aside from hackathons, like what are you doing for fun, man?
Yeah, like when you're not at your computer.
Yes, until 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm not on my computer, I basically like to go and roam around with friends at university. Like that's like my go-to spot, because like Krishan is a small city, so you don't have much things to do over here, especially for young people. So I just go to university, roam around with friends, just talk about random things, and maybe just meet new people. That's except that I used to bike a lot, but like my bike got stolen, but before I used to bike a lot.
So biking before your bike got stolen. Like if you were to, I don't know, I was like, are you going to build an anti-theft tool?
I was biking around and I parked my bike next to somebody else's bike, and if you touch the bike, like I brushed against it, locking my bike up, the thing started alarming.
Ooh,
it was so annoying. I felt like everyone's looking at me, and I'm like, I didn't do anything.
Maybe it's like, maybe we do like a different version of like, not the puppy. What is it? The pooch. It was what you built.
Spy bike.
Yeah,
Spy
spy
pooch.
push, yeah.
So like, maybe it's not spy pooch, but it's like bike watch. I don't know. But there's something there. Okay, so you just like to do college things with your college friends. So biking is a thing. Are there like how do you balance, right? Like, when are you finding your free time? Do you even have free time, right? You know what I mean? Like, there's the biking. But if there were other hobbies that you would want to get into, like, what would you want to be doing? What's exciting to you?
This is exciting. Like, the thing that I'm doing, I believe, is exciting.
Okay.
So, yeah. Like, the other thing that I'm looking forward to is basically just maybe moving to back on campus, because when I'm living on campus, it's like things are way easier. So you can just wake up, walk right across the hall, get your friend and make him work, maybe design a logo for your new website. That's what I used to do. Like, so a friend got
sounds hard to be your friend.
You gotta
hey man, I just stayed up till 4 a.m. I just stayed up till 4 a.m. hacking. I need you to make me a logo. Let's go.
Also you have to join the site that that you create. Like, there's just like a friend checklist.
Yeah.
But yes,
No,
carry on.
actually, I've messed up their sleep schedule. Before meeting me, they used to sleep on time, wake up on time. Now they're all like, okay, they will sleep like really late, wake up like at 12 or 1 p.m. sometimes. But yeah, they are fun. They have fun. They say that, okay, we are having fun. I hope they are having fun. So, like, at one point, like in early summer, my friends shifted like next to me, and I was like, yeah, that's what I wanted. So I want something. I will just knock on the wall. And I used to come to my place. We used to build things. We did that for a long time. But then I had to move out because I was doing an internship. I thought, okay, it's better to just move on, live off campus, see what's going on over there. But now I realize nothing is going on, so let's move back on campus.
Yeah, stay on campus. You actually reminded me of when I was in undergrad. One of my roommates, we were in the same major, and we would do all of our projects together. And for like our final big senior capstone project that we were working on together, we just like moved our desks into the same room, and it was so much fun. Like, I still have fond memories of working with Jonathan, just like in the room and just like, doing the thing. It's super cool.
It's also such a sacred and precious time. Like, you wake up one day and then like you're an adult, like an adult.
Yeah.
I'm scared of it.
Yeah, you'll be fine. There's also one other thing, which is like when I was I can tell you're going to be fine. When I was in undergrad, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like, I did a major that was interesting, but like not really what I'm doing now, not that exciting. And then like 10 years later, went back to grad school, and I like knew what I wanted to do, and I was really into it. It's really refreshing to see, somebody that's from the get-go, just like you know what you like, and you're super into it, and just keep exploring, keep doing that. Find the cool professors doing cool stuff and try to work with them. But like, you're doing so much cool stuff, and I'm really excited for you, just because you already have some passions and you're leaning into them. I think that's really cool. See, Frackberg, I'm on board with you. I'm 42 and still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. Yeah, I was in robotics, and now I'm here. So maybe I think I finally, in my late 30s, I forget my age sometimes, know what I want to be when I grow up, which is a developer evangelist. I just basically want to be Craig Dennis, which I'm really striving for. So Craig, if you're there, shout out to you. But like, yeah, like it's so refreshing to see someone at your age just like have a passion, and like that's good for you.
And also that you're like nurturing your passion. Also, I do want to shout you out for like hopping on stream, like, and just running with it. Like, so I hope you and our stream friends are giving you a nice round of applause, because like, even having like getting on camera, joining a stream, talking and sharing, like that's huge. So I really do hope that you're I don't know, giving yourself a shout out.
Thanks.
No, this was awesome. Any takeaways you have for a few folks, this is your speech time. Any advice you have for other college students, right, that are just building? What would you say to them?
Yeah,
It's a little rapid fire.
Yeah, don't just work. Try to have fun at university, because you will, like, after this 4 years, or maybe if you decide to do masters, then it's different. But after this 4 years, you will have like a lot of time to work. But right now, try to build those memories. Maybe if you're in CS, build those projects with your friends, build that stuff, maybe work on it, with your friends. Get go live in a dorm, maybe get your friends to live with you, maybe, if that's something that you can, and just have fun. Like, having fun is really important, or else you will get burned out. Like, I've met like a lot of students that say, I'm not able to have that kind of interest now in CS, because you are basically not having fun. CS is fun, tech is fun, and you are supposed to have fun. You are students, you are not supposed to do labor job at a university. Like, that's not labor, that's fun. You are supposed to have fun with it. If you treat it as a job, then you will just get burned out eventually. So I would just recommend that yeah, have fun. Try to build things, try to break things. You will learn few things. You will always feel like you are left behind. Doesn't matter how good you are. So just keep building things, I would say. Yeah.
Okay.
I like that. When you first were like, just have fun, I was like, my problem was I had too much fun. But I think the key is, like,
I believe it.
Have fun with the stuff you're building. Like, grad school for me was the other way. Like, just like what you said, I was having so much fun. I built like boats and submarines. It was like the coolest thing ever. Like, find the thing that you're having fun with in school, and try to lean into that and explore and experience and like have fun with it. That is great advice.
It is. I like it. I do have another question, right? So, we're here at Twilio, and you've built with a lot of different tools. Like, what advice do you have for companies and the tools that they're providing to folks like yourself? Like, what do you feel like makes for great tools, and how can companies continue to iterate on that experience for their users?
Yeah, so this is a problem that I've faced a lot with Twilio. So it's just a small thing. So whenever, like, your API keys gets expired, and then you are not able to really use your user account, so that creates like a huge issue. So let's say if right now if I use any of my previous phone numbers, then I won't be able to use it for the free tier account that we get. So that's like a issue that I face a lot. I've faced like in the past, and I've heard this. This is not my thing. Okay, like, I've heard this on Twitter. Like, recently, I got this feedback that, hey, they were not able to understand certain things on from the documentation. So maybe adding more examples. Maybe it's already there. I'm not sure right now, but maybe adding some more examples per use case in different languages might be something cool.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay,
we'll pass that along.
Yeah,
we're the right people. We got you.
Yeah, we also love honesty. So yes, as you see, stream friends, like, this is honesty space. And then I do, even what I'm hearing and what you're saying on both those examples is like, make it easier for me to build. And exactly. If I like, at the end of the day, like, if I as a user want to just build something, anything that creates friction on how I build, like, just try to get that away. And I think especially for someone who is as passionate about building as you, I think it's always great to kind of hear that perspective around the things that slow you down from that space.
And it's actually really difficult too to maintain documentation, because like I was working at a developer tool company too, so I know how difficult it is, like, maintain documentation and making sure that other people, like, okay, you can understand your documentation for sure, your company people might be able to understand it too, but others who are not working with you, is a bit difficult to think from that perspective. So like, they do a great job, but it's something that everyone can maybe improve. Like, it doesn't matter how big your company, how big a particular tool is, every documentation can get better. So
yeah, shout out to the docs team at Twilio too. They are smaller than they used to be, and they still do a really good job. But For sure. There's always something to do, and there's always another example to put in there and more code to write and the next thing that you can do to make it easier for people. So that is great feedback.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much, Satyam. It was such a pleasure to have you on here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, so, see, I love that.
Yeah. We got some shout outs in the chat. And then, so Bianca, next week, we've got one of our favorite guests back.
We do.
Yeah.
And honestly, all our guests are my favorite guests.
I know.
But yes, but I also thought it was cool, especially given like how we talked about like two-factor and just kind of like security. So that's just a little drop into who our guests, will be next week. I don't know. Do you want to let the people know?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
We've got the amazing Kelly Robinson coming back on
Kelly Show.
to talk about. I know the Kelly Show. We'll have to rename it again. This will be the third episode of Kelly Show.
Oh yeah.
But anyways, she's gonna come on and talk about passkeys, right? I think that's right.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for her to come on. I think passkeys are one of those things that I like. If I feel like I want to get to know them more because it makes life so easy. So I'm really excited to have her come on and talk more about that.
Yeah, no, same. I'm also excited. I think even as I was hearing Satyam talk, like, I think that reminder of like the introduction of tools like AI create new security challenges or even new opportunities to kind of imagine things in that space. So I do think, we'll have lots of questions. So bring your questions for Kelly. Also, RJ, we are on a quest to get you on this stream. I promise you, I say that with my heart and chest because I'm like, we're going to get you on the stream. But yeah, at some point we'll get RJ as well. But yeah, so we got Kelly Show Part 3.
Kelly Show Part 3.
Yeah, Kelly Show Part 3. As always, Alex, it's always a pleasure. Stream friends, y'all are just the greatest. So it's always lovely to just kind of be in conversation with y'all. We're like 30 episodes in, which is wild.
30 episodes. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. So if there are things that you want to build, things you want to see on stream, also stay tuned on actually, I'm going to put them on the spot because there might be new shows popping up. There might be some new shows on the Twitch stream. So you're going to see more content coming from us. So if you have ideas, if you have thoughts, if you have things that you want to see, I'm just saying. But this is also just social pressure that the other Twitch shows come out. You've heard it first. Let's see.
Cool.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Next week.
Yeah. A pleasure. I'll see you next week. We'll see all you next week here. Twilio Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's so many T's. The alliteration. It's great. Bye, friends.